Ralph Tyler is the father of assessment and evaluation. In the field of education, some of his main contributions were to transform the idea of measurement into a concept called evaluation. He designed a rationale for curriculum planning that is still used today. He advised 7 U.S. presidents, foreign leaders, legislators, and various school leaders. He helped with research and studies within the field of education. He also assisted with preparing the federal budget for presidents, and most notably the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. He was given the responsibility of writing the section on the development of regional education research laboratories. He's also very well known for what's called the Tyler rationale, and it was his rationale for curriculum. It consists of 4 parts. The first question is, what educational purposes should the school seek to obtain? Number 2, what educational experiences can be provided that are likely to attain these purposes? Number 3, how can the purpose be organized? And number 4, how can we determine whether these purposes are being attained? All throughout the field of education, we use his Tyler rationale for the development of curriculum in our classrooms. The next big contribution that he had was the educative experience, which consists of 3 central factors that we use when designing school experience for children or designing the curriculum. So the number 1 is the nature of the learner. So we're going to take into account different factors, learner interests, needs, life experiences, etc. Number 2, values and the aims of society. So what are the principles, values, and attitudes of society and of the individual? Number 3, knowledge of subject matter. What is believed to be worthy and usable knowledge? So what do we want our students to know at the end of a lesson? A very famous quote that Tyler used pretty often in the presence of other educators was, "Isn't what's best for the kids the most important?" Also, according to Tyler, true reform lay in the capacity of schools to increase the relevance of learning, ease the plight of disenfranchised children, facilitate children for less troublesome passage into adulthood. Here are his 4 basic principles that we use. So Ralph Tyler's notable works include 2 main components, the 8-year study and the basic principles of curriculum instruction. To start off, the 8-year study was from 1933 to 1941, where 30 high schools, public and private, and over 300 colleges and universities participated. The study was created as a response to concern about the narrowness and rigid high school curriculum. These 30 schools agreed to experiment with various alternative curricula approaches, and the purpose of this study was to help colleges and high schools better understand the effects of high school experience on college performance. So after analyzing the data, graduates of the 30 secondary schools did as well in college as those who entered after standardized tests. He also found that success in college could be predicted by competence in reading and writing in just one high school subject, mathematical ability, correlated with success in only engineering and technical institutes. Since the study's finding, the College Entrance Examination Board reformulated its aptitude test, and today we call it the SAT. This study forced Tyler to think about the rationale for school curriculum. It eventually led him to publish it in 1949 under the title Basic Principles of Curriculum Instruction, which ironically was the name for his syllabus for his college classes. So the basic principles of curriculum instruction, he talks about the rationale that eventually becomes known as the Tyler rationale, which I mentioned on one of the first slides. The educative experience, and was eventually well known as the father of behavioral objectives. People quote his basic principles of curriculum instruction, called his Tyler's Little Book. This book is extremely short and a very fast read. He published it in 1949. Here's a little bit more information about the 8-year study. Again, it was trying to improve public school testing, try to get a little bit more creative in evaluation instead of just the paper pencil test, And this is where he has pushed a lot of schools to do the portfolios instead of a paper test at the end of a unit. There's his little book, The Basic Principles of Curriculum and Instruction. Some major influences, as you can see here on the screen, he was advisor to 7 different presidents, and he supported and encouraged some of the educators on the right, including Bloom. A little bit of background about Ralph Tyler. He was born April 22nd, 1902 and died February 18th, 1994. He first started off as a high school science teacher. In 1922, he enrolled in a master's program in education, and after he did teaching and supervised student teachers in science, he decided to work on his doctorate at the University of Chicago. He accepted a position at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and then was offered a job at The Ohio State University in 1929. He was serving as the assistant director for the Bureau of Educational Research, where he completed the 8-year study. As mentioned earlier, he worked and advised with many presidents, college officials, SAT board, and when he retired in 1967, he was still actively involved in the field of education. His educational beliefs: he reasoned that evaluation had to start with objectives. What were they trying to teach the children? How to memorize, or how to understand and use the material for the future? And last but not least, evaluation was not simply a way to measure students' or teachers' success or failure. It is an integral part of the education process, ensuring an alignment between the classroom experiences and pedagogical objectives. Just as a little summary of Ralph Tyler, he was the father of assessment and evaluation, most well known for his rationale for curriculum, the Tyler rationale, and most notable study was the 8-year study. And he wrote the book Basic Principles of Curriculum Instruction in 1949, which is still used in a lot of curriculum classes today. That is it.